Cameraman Grades, cameramangrades.com, professional consultations for camera operators, video coordinators, and sports video experts at all levels. Find us at cameramangrades.com or contact us directly at cameramangrades@gmail.com for your own sports video consultation. Currently looking for the best camera operator of the 2025 NFL season. These are the best of the best, and we are putting it to the test. Today we are looking at the Detroit Lions versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, Week 16 of 2025. Special shout out to Nick Affolter, who is recently became a father and has played at Ford Field on two separate occasions as a two-time state champion in Michigan. So also Isabella, who is his wife, and was his filmer in college at Hillsdale College. So congratulations to both the two of you, and let's get started. All right. Okay. I like this. All right, got a pan across, a straight pan. Okay, no zooming. Kicker, and then a straight pan. Very little bit of zooming at the start there. Okay, and then zooming in. Yes, excellent. All right, great tight setup. Wow, we are moving real quick here. All right, off and running. Hurry up offense from Detroit. Getting started right away. This filmer is ready for it, sees it all the time. But certainly an additional challenge that you have to keep in mind is the quickness that this is going to take place. Okay, the speed at which you have to get things set up. All right, right here we are way zoomed out at this point. Okay. Nice tight setup. Everything's moving very quickly. Right? Not a lot of time to react in between plays. But looks really good. Oh, we're punting. Okay. Punter. Yes. Man, I am liking what I've seen out of this film so far. I mean, a lot of good things happening. All right. Nice tight setup. Staying with everybody. Excellent. All right. I just want to see it right by here. Okay, you got 5 yards. 5-yard buffer on each side. It's extending 10 yards on each side at this point. And then still zooming out, so you're getting a little farther out at this point. All right. Nice. Flowing with the ball really well. Awesome. Great setup. Yes. Okay. All right. It can be tighter. Okay. Definitely be tighter, but you're within 5 yards behind the quarterback. Within 10 yards to the defense. Now we're extending beyond 5 yards here. Okay. And then within 5 yards there. So, yeah. Now we're into 10-yard territory. At some point, you just got to recognize the ball's away. You're not going to have to zoom out any farther at that point. Everybody's condensing to wherever the ball is headed to. Okay, getting out pretty wide on this. All right, we were already at 10 yards behind the quarterback, and then zooming out from there. All right. Again, a lot of space. All right. I'm bringing it up in the box on this one. Okay. That's where you're going to be. This is all the football on the field at this point. Put that down in the corner. See it. Okay. 70%. Right at the 70% mark. All right. It's a grading evaluation. It's a 70%. Okay. Just like any other grade. Well, it even goes out wider than that. 70% is C territory. Sometimes less, right? Nice tight setup. And zooming in. Pretty aggressive zooming in. Alright, this is right about where we'd want to be. Any tighter than that isn't really necessary. Right there. Alright, so the zoom out doesn't really make any sense based on the play. Right here, everything's right here. You really don't have to move at all. Right. I understand that you do want to keep people involved, keep people in the shot if you're expecting a pass and you're thinking that people are going to be running routes, but they didn't. They recognized it pretty quick after that. Oh, it's a run. Never mind. Right? There's the pass. Okay. All right. But recognizing at some point that you don't have to keep zooming out. All right. Gaining all this extra space isn't helping. Got a lot of space behind the defense too, but behind the quarterback is offering absolutely nothing. All right. Okay, good tight setup. I like the initial state here. Yes. Okay. Still zooming out farther than you need to, but that was good usable footage there. 4th and 14. Kicking it. Field goal. Get a good setup and leave it. Awesome. I like the Lions. They go for it. They go get it. I like the Lions filmer. He's definitely doing that. Right? Some areas that we can hone in and tweak and get better at, improving every play. But so far what I've seen is been on the right track. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Right. That's pretty close zoom up. We don't need to be that tight, especially in the NFL. They've got 47 other cameras pointed towards the field. A bunch of them are set up for tight shots, so you really don't need that to be that close. All right. All right, a lot of space behind the quarterback, but we're watching football there. Okay, that's a good evaluation tool. A lot of routes going downfield, and being able to see all those routes, all the combinations, how it's being defended, all the coverage, is spot on. That's exactly what we want to see. Nice tight setup. Okay, now stay in there. Right? This is so tight. Okay, there's a lot of movement before the play, but once they actually all get set, we're within 5 yards both sides, 2-3 yards on both sides of the ball. Right? Now just stay there. It's a run. Clearly a run. Right? Where are we going? Okay, yeah. I figured it out eventually, but staying in there tight on that play would have been huge, a huge difference. Okay, wow. Getting out wide again. Okay, they're on the right track. This is good looking footage. Yes, stop. Yep, and then zoom back in. Nice slight zoom in. You don't have to get 3 guys in the shot. You can keep 11 to 15 guys in the shot would be fine. Right there. Good, good. Run recognition. Excellent. Yes. Awesome. Okay. This is good. This is a good tight setup to start. And then the first motion that they do is right to left to get tight on that this edge. Okay. They can start there. They can get a little closer on the start if they were, over in this range, and then cut this space out along this edge, right? Cut this down this way, and then just put the ball a little more to that 2/3 line, right? You can see the difference between here to here is almost exactly the difference between here to here. That's 2/3. And that's why that's a good general guideline to follow. It's pretty simple that way. And by the time it all plays out, it's spot on. Okay. Good tight setup within 5 yards. Okay, the quarterback's going to fill that edge. Yes. And then we're going to zoom in out a little farther than we need to. Once we get to here, no reason to go out any farther. That's a whole lot of extra footage there. A whole lot of extra space along the edges. That's where the football is. And that's where the frame can be. Okay? That's if I'm watching TV and I'm seeing this as my TV screen, it's all football, right? No distractions. As a coach, I don't want distractions. I don't want to have any extraneous elements to my footage. I want to be able to evaluate these players right here, and the wider you go, the smaller they get. The smaller they get, the harder it is to evaluate them. Okay. This is really close. This is really close to being great footage. A lot of things are being done really well here. Yeah, nice and tight. Okay, right here, it really shouldn't be tightening up any farther from here. If it's a run, it should stay in there. But if it's a run, also don't need to zoom out. Maybe just slightly just to make sure that everybody's staying in your frame. But beyond that, I'm expecting this could be a pass here. You got a guy, spread out on this side. The last play could have been a pass as well. Oh, you got inside handoff. Okay. Okay, fantastic. filmer caught on to what was going on very quickly. Okay, underneath toss coming this direction, right? But keeping everybody in the shot right there is still good. Okay, recognizing it. We're out a little farther here. Okay, let's just check it in the box just to make sure. Okay, 70%. All right, but recognizing where the ball was going and adjusting accordingly. 4th and 3. Nice tight setup. Okay, if it stays within this frame, there's no reason to zoom in. They're zooming out. Yep. Zooming out. I got routes being run. Got out pretty wide. I want to see right at the peak here. Right there. Okay. This guy's changing direction at this point. We got some space here, some space here. Not bad. But then to continue out when clearly nobody's continuing to go any wider than that is where it gets, out farther than you want to. Okay, nice tight setup. Excellent. Let's go. Awesome setup here. Again, doing a lot of things right. Zooming in at the end of the play, the idea is to be able to see numbers, jersey names, being able to evaluate, was this actually the person who made the tackle? Any closer than that, you really don't have to get too much closer. I'd like to keep at least half the guys on the field in the shot, just as a general guideline, but usually more, right? If you get too tight, then we don't need to fill the whole frame with one guy, right? Awesome. I mean, the setups are perfect. It's just a matter of tightening up inside, recognizing runs, and then recognizing how far do we really need to get out with these receivers as they're running routes. Okay, this is a little wider of a setup than I've seen from this filmer. Okay. Initial state, top to bottom, there's room to tighten this up. Right, specifically here. And getting out pretty wide. And you see what I'm saying? Like, if you don't tighten it up to start, where does it go from there? It goes out to the crowd. All right, this is better. Oh, nice. Okay. So recognizing that this motion is changing the formation, and he can come down just a little bit. And he does, right? Because that's likely going to be the direction that we're going. But the immediate zoom back out, right? Let's see here. Okay. That's about it. Can't get much tighter than that. 70%. Special teams. Okay. All right. What can we do here? To start, you don't need to show anything beyond the back side of the punter. So you can move this over tighter, okay, and then allow the long snap and the punt, okay. Because there's extra space behind the punter, it gets wide quick, and then more movement left to right, or right to left, than you really need to, because he had all that extra space. Now you get extra space this way and extra space this way. Punter's still in the shot, not doing much behind the play, and then you end up cutting him out anyway, right? You know, if you're going to keep the punter into the shot to this point, right, what has he done from here to here that's worth seeing? Nothing. And now we're like, okay, well, we don't need to see him anymore. Well, we really didn't at all after the ball was away. Okay, make sure he doesn't get hit. See if there's anything that we can to make sure if somebody's running into the punter. But zooming out wide just to keep him in didn't gain us anything as far as information for the players on the field. Okay. Good tight setup within 5 yards behind here, and even tightened it up again, okay, with a left to right movement. I like that. Now, from here, okay, got a guy looping around, so the quarterback's not the tightest guy on this side anymore, which makes sense, but doesn't need to be this far out. It could certainly stand to be right about here. Where does it go from there? Even farther, right? So at this point, we're into sky cam footage. All right. We do have a safety beyond that, so I want to see him. Then we got quarterback and defensive end outside of that. About 80%. All right. Great setup again. Okay, just stick in there. If you got this set up and you can stay there, great. If you need to zoom out, do it. Only as much as you need to. I want to stay as close to that initial state as possible. Yes. Okay. All right, I'm just going to check it real quick right here. Within 5 yards, 10 yards. Okay, going out farther. Right? It's on the right track. And this is where I say the challenge of filming in the NFL. These are elite athletes running 60 yards downfield, and you're supposed to keep up with them, right? And you need to expect anything, certainly in Detroit, right? Anything can happen on any of these plays, and they're happening quick, right? So sometimes filmers just feel the need to zoom out just to make sure they don't lose anything, which is understandable. That was excellent. Okay. Left to right. Okay. A lot of extra space. A lot of space here. All right. 65. Fourth. Field goal. Great setup. No movement. A little bit of zoom in there. Not really necessary. When you got a tight setup that in a formation that close, you don't need to zoom in any closer than that. You already have the tightest setup you're going to see in football. You know, compared to spread sets, empty sets, right? We've got 22 guys just jammed into a 10-yard span. Just leave it at that. You've already won from a filmer's perspective. You struck gold. Stop digging, right? You struck oil. Great setup. Zooming out. That works. 3rd and 6. Awesome. Love it. This is good footage. Special teams, 4th and 3. Punter punts away. Drop the punter. Stop zooming out so far. You know what? It's not bad. Yep. Not bad on that. There really was 22 guys in that shot. It went out wide to keep them all in, but so did this one. At the peak, we're here. Okay. Well, what is this? 30 yards? 10, 20, 25. We've got space behind the quarterback as well. 25 yards too much. Awesome. Okay. There's room to tighten that up as well. Setups are great. Okay, not everybody's getting this tight on setups. Just staying with it, staying in there. Keeping that ratio along the edge, right? If you're going to start there, can you maintain it throughout the entire play? As people are running. Okay, drop the punter. Awesome. Love it. This is as good of any punt situation that I've seen so far. Great setup. Within 2 yards on each side. That works. Awesome. Okay. Great. Play recognition, recognizing that the ball's away and you can zoom in to that location. People are going to start to condense on the ball. The defense recognizes it as well, and they're heading that direction, so you might as well just start heading that way as well. And if you're doing it the right way, you're doing it at the same speed as the defense. The offense is trying to get in front of them to keep them from making a play on the ball, and they are tight on the on the clip at the end of the play there. It's hard for me to pause it and show you a couple of different things, but that, had more room to zoom in there. Special teams again. Okay, dropping the punter. This is as good of punt coverage footage that I've seen in the NFL. This filmer probably needs to cut the camera off a little quicker, recognizing that the offense is coming on the field and they're probably going to line up and run the ball. Line up and go. Okay, ball's in the center. 2/3. 2/3 would be good. No, we're gonna wait for 2/3 from the filmer. That works. I thought they were gonna run a play, and they're like, no, we gotta wait for the filmer to get 2/3, and we did, and it's awesome. Okay. All right, still a lot of space behind the quarterback. We're going to make that adjustment. We're going to tighten it up. We're going to go 2/3 to the defense. Quarterback fills that edge. And then we zoom out to the moon. All right. Got to keep those guys tight on the edges. All right. Good. Awesome. Fantastic. Okay, at the peak, this is it, right? Within 10 yards, within 10 yards. Stopping there, run recognition and coming back in. That is the correct application. Okay, same thing here. Same exact format. Zoom out, make sure you're keeping everybody in the shot, just enough to make sure that everybody's going where they need to, and then zoom back in with a run. I'm thinking this is a pass. You got single back. Yep. Oh, brought it down. Let's go. That's fantastic. All right. There's room to tighten that up, on the edges, but I saw everything I needed to out of that, and so will the coaches. Again, no reason to zoom in on this. You got the perfect setup. Go ahead and leave it where it's at. Special teams. Kickoff. Kicks away. Pan over. A little bit of zooming out, which gained a little extra space behind the returner. An extra 10 yards, but didn't affect too much. It can be a straight pan. It's 45 yards from the kicker to the back of the front line, and then it's 45 yards from the back of the front line to the returner. So it's a straight pan, and the math is there. It works out perfectly if it's done right. If there is a really amazing kick that goes out even farther back into the back of the end zone, you can zoom out as needed. All right, pretty wide on the zoom here. Okay, calling for a pass deflection. I don't know what's going on there. The defense is changing some things up, but as far as keeping up with them, this is fantastic. Okay, within 5 yards, within 5 yards. Yes. All right, so I love this because the quarterback is not the farthest player to the right. The receiver is. Okay, as the receiver vacates that space and the quarterback drops back, guess what happens? He's no longer the farthest guy to the right. Now the quarterback is. All right, defenders still dropping back, still within 5 yards, still within 5 yards. Right here, we got a little bit extra space. We're within 10 yards both directions. And then here, still within 10 yards on both directions. but we're keeping everybody in the shot. All right, right there is about the farthest back. That's the peak of it. We can certainly tighten it up, but doing all the right things there. Okay, now the running back is the farthest to the right. Quarterback takes that spot. Zooming out as needed because the receivers are pressing the top and bottom. Okay, so left or right doesn't really matter if you're keeping these guys in the frame top to bottom. Okay, awesome. Okay, setup's good. 2/3. All right. You can stick in here. Okay, right here, you got the setup. No reason to zoom out. Setup's correct. The outside receivers are moving inside. Right, both of them. Okay, so the play is not expanding, it's contracting to the center, right? So everything that you already set up wider than this is going interior to the middle of the field, and you're already pointed there, so you don't have to adjust anything, right? To zoom out here doesn't really make sense. To zoom out, chop off the bottom of the legs on the guys on the bottom and then add a bunch of crowd to the top also doesn't make sense. Okay, so if we can cut that extraneous movement out of it, that's where we're really going to hone this in to exactly where you already were earlier in the shot. But I mean, you were there. It was a tight shot to start. All right, zooming out, zooming in. Okay, pretty basic. This is pretty much the formula for any pass play in football. You're going to zoom out a little bit, keep everybody in the shot, and then zoom back in. Again, still room to hone this in. Let's check the box. %. Okay. Leaving 30% of the screen as just grass. Okay, the setup's there. Zooming out slightly. Okay. Within 10 yards, it works. Zooming out. Okay. Okay. Empty set. Okay. No running back in the backfield. The only run you can run is, bringing one of these guys in motion and handing the ball off, or the quarterback draw. So at this point, passes are inevitable, and here's a quick pass, 1-step drop, 1-step throw. Okay, at that point, recognize that the ball's away, and no more zooming out at that point. Whoa, a lot going on here. Okay, top to bottom, receivers were pressing the sidelines in both directions. There's really no more tightening that you can do in that situation. They kept everybody in the shot in order to make sure that those routes were included. Okay, this is a different situation. right? Not so much the same here. There, okay, still reasonable. This is getting unreasonable. And no reason to show that. And then cutting out most of the people to show most of the crowd. Right. Awesome. Oh. Hey. Let's go. Oh, 2 seconds to go in the half. Special teams. Perfect setup. Leave it alone. It's good. Yeah. He's talking about you, filmer. That film was good. Special teams. Panning across. A little bit of zooming out because it's deep to the back of the end zone. Perfect. Okay. When that happens, adjust. And then we're kneeling on it. According to the description, that's a kneel play. Easy. It's a gimme. Special teams, pan across. And zoom in. Okay. Footage seemed to get a little darker at halftime. Not bad, just slight change. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Awesome. Okay, there was a zoom out, not sure why, just briefly. Okay. Zooming just to make sure that everybody stays in the shot, which is completely understandable. The run recognition, see where that handoff is going. If you're paying attention to the person with the ball, which is the quarterback, and he's heading towards somebody who's going to take the ball from him, which is the running back, at that point, you're not going to be zooming out anymore if he's actually doing that, right? If he's actually handing the ball off. If he's keeping it, pay attention to how everybody else is responding to that quarterback and adjust accordingly. Instead of just expecting that, let's just zoom out just to make sure that everybody stays in the shot and then zoom back in once we figure out it's a run. What if you just paid attention to the guy with the ball and what he's going to do with it? And then pay attention to the defensive end to make sure that he's not still chasing after the quarterback, because if he is, he knows he's got the ball. Way better than the filmer does, right? The defensive end sees it, and that's his job. If he's not chasing the quarterback doesn't have the ball. Oh, had it. We had it. Okay, zooming out at the right speed with the play. This is good. Zooming out. Okay, bam, 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 right there. This is zooming out at the perfect speed, right? Now, watching the routes, getting a feel for where these routes are going. They're stopping. Stop, stop, stop. Okay? That's as far as they're going. These guys are not going to continue to drop in that instance. Okay? All 3 of these routes flattened out right there at that moment. But the filmer didn't. Had it. It's like a fish on the line. You had it. Kicked off. All right. Okay. Fullback blocking. All right, most fullback sets are going to be downhill running. Pretty common. Downhill running. Don't need to zoom out too much, if at all. Okay, oh. Single back set. Drop back, scrambling. Okay. Yeah, I would have bid on this. I would immediately think I was going this direction, which it's not. Okay, so there you go. Scrambling with the quarterback. All right. Scrambling with the quarterback this direction. Right there. I mean, you got everybody in the shot. There's nothing more you need to do here. Don't need to pan up to see the crowd. Don't need to do too much zoom in there. Fantastic setup. Yep. Okay. So right here, minor critique. Everybody's in the shot. And then from this moment, the camera is going to pan left to right, which is backwards. Okay? Unless he's expecting this guy to take it to the house, which he could very well be doing. Right? Possible that that's the case. And then dropping out guys down here to show more guys, more of the crowd up here doesn't make sense. Okay? Go ahead and show the ball in relation to the rest of the players on the field, not centering the ball because of your equipment, right? You are going to zoom in and it zooms into the center, but you can do that gradually as you pan up and zoom in at the same time. Detroit's calling for the ball. They get the ball? They sure did. Let's go. Okay. All right. Caught off guard a little bit. Caught me off guard. That's motion. It's just the receiver blending into the end zone. Happens. Okay. You're looking at a tiny little screen, and all of a sudden you're heading that direction. But the knee-jerk reaction to get out there to fix it caused a lot of space all over. All right. Gotta be ready for anything. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to see receivers, people lined up in the end zone there. Okay, fascinating. All right, very uncommon to see this. This player on the left-hand side of the screen, almost 99.9% of the time, you're going to be moving, panning left to right, moving the camera to line up the edge of the quarterback. So you can see how aggressive you can move this direction based on this distance from here to here, right? Almost half the screen. 2/3 of the screen, right? So not exactly almost half, but you can move a significant portion to get here, right? But receiver does nothing. Doesn't do it. Normally he's running 60 yards down the field, and he goes, no, just gonna sit there. Okay, so you gotta stay there. I almost inevitably would have moved the camera, expecting that he's running downfield, and he's doing that. But again, gotta be ready for anything. Zooming out indiscriminately is not the answer. Zooming out while moving slightly left to right would have been the answer there. Okay, good, nice, tight setup. Yes, that's the slow zoom while panning left to right. Okay, that's it. And then watch this edge. You kind of have to watch both edges at the same time and keep it tight. Because you have to zoom back in anyway, right? You're going back that direction. So don't go any farther than you have to. Okay, this is a long ball kickoff. Wow. Okay, and still executed to perfection. So it must have been a safety while I was yammering on about stuff there. Yeah, okay. Awesome. Right here, end of this play. This is where the zoom in should go. Okay, this is a good amount of players to have in your shot at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 guys, right? What more do you want to see? Right? There's 19 guys in this shot. We cut out 3 guys, but they're all right here, right? They're all right here. This is, I can see every single number of every single player. I don't need to zoom in to get a detailed look at the back of their helmet. But overall, that was a really good job on that play. All right. Same here. Awesome. Okay. Third quarter. Maybe they really found their groove here and can stick in this pocket. Keep the ratios just perfect along the edge. Oh, they're still getting wide. Not bad, though. Oh! Oh! It's tough. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, talk about sticking in there and just sticking with it. Run recognition. Zero movement. Nothing. Everybody's right there. You already got it. That's fantastic. I really feel like they've gotten more comfortable staying in there in the third quarter here. Okay, some space. Ultimately not bad. 10 yards on both sides. Fourth and 2. Okay. Got it. Really well done. That was an odd formation, odd setup, odd situation all around. And they were able to stick with it just perfectly. I like the run recognition. I like everything about this play. Oh, yeah. Yes. So good. Unflinching. Motion everywhere. No movement. Didn't need to. I already had the perfect setup. Oh, you're moving back? Doesn't matter. Still have the perfect setup. Are you going to run it? Still have the perfect setup. That is such a strong evaluation tool because the filmer is taking themselves out of the equation at that point. They're allowing the play to happen on screen for everyone to see. They're allowing the play to develop for the coaches to evaluate, share that with the players, show them what they can do better, show them where they need to, adjust on the field. And when it works like that, perfect. If you're a filmer who's capable of doing that, like these NFL filmers are, so good. That play, so good. If you're capable of doing that, that's great. As soon as everybody starts running everywhere, you got to be ready for it. So good. That play all day long. If all they did was run the ball all day long, you could do this every single play, and it would be perfect. He found it. He found it. I thought he wasn't going to there for a second. Okay, ball's here, right? And he's staying here. He's thinking maybe this is going this direction. Right, this is a trick play. There's a lot of deception. I can tell that he didn't know quite where the ball was because this guy's off the edge. But for what it's worth, that's pretty dang good. Because the setup was correct initially, and because he didn't panic, right? Okay, this is really tight. Can he stay in there? No, he has to zoom out, and that's okay, as long as he's doing it at the speed that he needs to, which was perfect. Yes. Awesome. Pulling back. Okay. Whoa. Okay. The coaches are going to be looking at that play and seeing where they could, have a defender there, right? Film was perfect. You could obviously see it. Or was there a penalty? Was it a... Yeah, penalty. So we're going to be able to see where the collision occurred in the defensive backfield that caused the penalty, right? The last play was excellent, spot on. This framing is perfect. Zooming out just slightly and then zooming back in, that is perfect. Fourth and 5. Gonna go ahead and kick a field goal. Perfect setup, perfect release, little bit of movement. Don't need it. You can cut that out. Okay. Again, going back to the whole idea of this being an evaluation tool and the coaches being able to evaluate from that perfect setup. If you don't need to move it, you don't. I've seen it so many times from this filmer just in the last series. It applies to the kicks as well. It applies to the field goals and extra points. All right. Nice. Awesome. Love it. Looked good. Things were looking good. Anytime I was filming and there was no play on a play and I had the perfect setup and I was ready for it, I was like, I had it. Okay. Pause. Farthest guy on the right. What am I expecting him to do? I'm expecting a go route. I'm expecting him to come into the middle of the field. I'm expecting him to be anywhere other than right here, which means I'm coming to the next guy. What am I expecting him to do? Same. Coming to this guy. Running back. Coming up forward and blocking or grabbing the ball and going straight forward. So that leaves me to the quarterback, right? Okay, so this is the quarterback. Running back's on the other side. So I'm expecting this side of this edge of this frame to come all the way this way. If that's happening at the same speed as this guy's going backwards, at the same speed that this guy's going forwards, then I can just move all the way over without any zooming. And by doing that, I can maintain this level of detail for at least this far down the field. Let's see if they do that here. Nope, zooming out. Okay, zooming out and gaining a lot of space, right? There's the difference, right? If you're coming over and not zooming out, you're not gaining space downfield, because this defender is dropping back at the same speed as this guy. That's his job, right? Oh, no, he's not. He's sticking with this guy here, right? But same idea. His job is to stay with this guy. These two are lined up. Okay. Right. So you can just move with the speed of those receivers as they move downfield. Great setup. Excellent. Getting a little wide. Okay. We're still good here. All right, still good here. It's just a pacing issue with the zoom. Okay. 10, 15, 16, 17 yards. Okay. It's something that can be corrected. It's a challenge to correct it, because from this height, from this distance, the window that you have to zoom in and zoom out, you have to hit the button at just the precise moment, in that tiny little difference between zooming out way too far and zooming in just perfectly, right? There's such a tiny window to hit. It's doable, and there are teams doing it. But it's a challenge. And in NFL stadiums, it's one of the biggest challenges. There are some very high collegiate stadiums that are dealing with similar challenges, but across the board, this is going to be the most difficult filming locations you're going to come across. It's pretty good. Awesome. Man, just right out the bat, as soon as the camera turns on, they're framed up perfectly. Oh boy. Choose love. Special teams. Perfect setup. No movement. A little bit of movement. Okay. It works, but just the act of adjusting the camera, zooming in even a little bit, the psychology behind it, you're watching a screen where everything's changing. Okay, just because you're zooming in, everything that you're watching is adjusting on screen, and your brain has to process that. You're taking processes away from what we really want to do, is evaluate the players and the schemes. Beautiful. If you're taking processes away from the coaches and players in their evaluation, they're going to walk away from film sessions less stressed than if they're constantly just watching and trying to figure out where was I? I was just here, but the whole screen just moved, right? So reduce that stress for your team, reduce that stress for your coaches, allow them to evaluate, process the evaluations that much better. Oh, okay, that was close. Wanted to stick in there, but allow your team to be better in coaching sessions. That works. .44 to go in the fourth quarter. Got a chance, down 2 scores. Works for me. 2 scores is nothing. I've seen it eliminated in a blink of an eye in so many times, in so many games. Let's see what happens here. Oh, fake pitch. Throwing it back out to the top. Got pretty wide on that. Okay, zooming out. Still zooming out. A lot of zooming out. Okay, great setup to start, and then stick in there. Just getting so far out. Okay, top to bottom, they were keeping that in the shot, so that makes sense. You had guys pressing both sides, both sidelines, and so you have to stay with them top to bottom, which gains extra space left to right. Okay, great. Wide. Okay. What I really like here is they've got this space behind the quarterback, and I wish a lot of teams would recognize this. Cut it down. Okay, right to left at the before the snap. Oh, I got all this extra space. Oh, I don't need that. Go ahead and just get rid of it. They didn't get rid of it all the way, but cut it down probably by half before the snap. Okay, now here, this is as wide as you really should be. You can be tighter than this, but this is as wide as you should go. Do you think they're going to stay this tight, or are they going to go wide again? Still going wide to here. Okay. Okay. 60. 55. Okay. So it's close, right? You kind of see the grade dropping with all these plays that are having these issues, but it's really the same issue over and over and over again. So it's really just one issue that can be corrected, and then once you correct one issue, every play improves. That's exciting. That's an exciting prospect in my mind. Wait, I can just fix one thing and everything's going to be better? I think there's a life lesson in that, right? Okay. What is going on here? Let's cut out most of the players just to show more of the crowd. This is below the 50, the halfway point in this frame. So more than half of your shot is not even football. The football is happening down here, down in the text area, right? That's what I want to see. That's what coaches want to see. That's what players want to see. That's what this guy wants to see. Okay? Let him see himself. He was there. He was chasing after the play. He worked hard for it. Great setup. Not bad. Yes. Okay. Zoomed out a little. They didn't need to. They want a little extra buffer. That's understandable. Whew. Okay. Man. Zooming in on special teams. Pan across. Dropping out the kicker. Love it. 21 guys in the shot the entire time. A little zoom in. Okay. Get a little tighter there at the end. Okay. Farthest guy to the right is at the bottom of the screen. No, a different guy's going to the bottom of the screen. Still the farthest guy to the right. Quarterback takes that spot. Throws underneath. And not bad. There's definitely room to tighten that shot up, but I saw everything I needed to. Same thing. Guy at the bottom of the screen. Okay. So this is the difference, right? The guy at the bottom of the screen is going to go in motion farther to the bottom of the screen, and now he's turning upfield. Okay, which means now we're bringing this over here to the quarterback. Is that going to happen? No. No. Let's just get more space behind the quarterback, even though there's nothing happening there. Okay, should be bringing this and tightening it up here, and by doing that, you don't have to zoom out as far. By zooming out this far, now we're way past where we need to be. And then now we're just in blimp mode. Monday Night Football used to show this shot from the Goodyear blimp every Monday, and you'd wait for it. I used to wait for it from when I was a kid because I just loved getting that super wide shot of the stadium and seeing where the game's being played. Yeah, still a vivid memory for me from when I was younger, but that's not something you want to see in these evaluation films. This looks good though. Okay, that was tight. Ugh. Right here. 25 yards, 30 yards. It can get out of hand quick. You know, there's no reason to be out this wide. If there was, it's completely understandable, right? Hey, if you got to be out this wide, do it. If you got to be out this wide to keep everybody in the shot, do it. If you got to be out this wide just to see, you know, the end zone when nobody's within 30 yards of it, don't do it. That's the don't do it part. 70%. Okay. Within 10 yards, both directions. Very workable film. Still usable evaluations. That works. Okay, swing out. Zoom back in. Awesome. Really like that play. Okay, seeing what's happening on the field, adjusting accordingly. Same thing here. Nice. Stayed in tight. Okay, there was a little bit of zoom. And they're like, I can see what's happening here. I don't need to zoom out. He's clearly running over that direction and it's going to throw the ball that way. Why would I zoom out indiscriminately? Not going to. Till the next play. No, just kidding. This one was fine. Okay. Okay. I'd love to see the same recognition on this play. Okay. What's the quarterback doing? Taking one step back and throwing the ball. Okay. At that point, I'm not figuring I need to zoom out any farther. Everybody's running that way. The entire defense is like, well, he's took one step back and he's throwing it that way. So we should all run over there, right? Yeah. And when that happens, I don't need to zoom out any further. You can see it clear as day right here. One step, throw. Okay. We're still zooming out. I love watching football. I love watching plays develop. You can do it and film. And use it as the basis for what you're doing as a filmer. You can see everything that's happening in the play and then apply that to your job. Awesome. I really like what this filmer is doing. Their application of special teams, kickoff, punts. Okay, both looking good. All right. Here, I'd say right there. Okay. These guys are in the frame. This guy's in the frame. I know he's heading that direction, but he's not there yet. So you can stay right here for a while. Nope, they didn't. They abandoned everybody and went this direction. Okay. Stay here. Let it develop. Move left to right. Okay. This isn't helping. So keep these guys in the frame and then move up and zoom in at the same time at the pace that you want. Okay. Getting zoomed in to the point where you got 4 guys in the shot didn't gain you anything. Okay. It's kind of a knee-jerk reaction at that point. Wow. Big man. Let's go. Not bad. That deep safety really changes, your shot. Normally, you've got guys filling in all that space, um, but when you got everybody kind of pressed up on the line and then one guy really deep, it can throw you off just a little bit. Fantastic. Okay, this is a little more balanced at this point, right? I mean, the filming is looking really good at this point. Whoa. Moonshots. Okay. This footage brought to you by the Lunar Landing Module. Thank you, Buzz Aldrin. Whew. Okay. So many good things going on in this footage, and then there's just shots like that where it looks like the zoom button got just stuck. Right? Okay, and here we are. 2 minutes to go in the game. 2:05, 24, 29. One possession ball game. Okay. Awesome. That's what it's all about. Love it. Nice. Tightening up with the Titan formation. Coming back with the deep safety. And then zooming out to the moon. Nah, it's not bad. Definitely room to tighten that up. But I get it. This is a tight situation. Everybody's tense. Again, wanting to make sure everybody stays in the shot. Like this. Setups are so tight throughout this entire game. Really looks good. Here comes the flags. Minute 24. 50-yard line. 49. Yep. Yep. Stay in there. Okay. 15 to 20 yards behind the defenders. Okay, there's room to tighten that up. Nice. Let's go. Okay, awesome play. Awesome job filming it. 48 seconds to go in the game. Down 5. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Three-second play. 45 seconds to go. Nice. Okay. Alright. Just the recognition. seeing that the ball's away and that you don't have to zoom out any farther. Right. Yeah, that looks like a score. Let's go. Oh no. Oh. You have to do that again. 22 seconds. Okay. Shot was fantastic. Oh, okay. No play. Giving the offense some room to work, I guess. A little extra space to run routes so it's not so congested. Good play. Yep. Oh. Down. It's a good shot. 16 seconds. Okay. Game's on the line. Focus on what your job is here. Gotta stay in there tight. Not bad, filmer. Looked good. Wasn't able to connect though. 11 seconds, 3rd and 9. Okay. Should be going right to left, tightening up that edge. Not quite. 4th. 8 seconds. Huh. It's that game. That is the game. I got caught looking here. Hold on a second. We're gonna get tight here. Okay. I'm gonna throw the box on it. Last play of the game. I want to see it. 70. Okay. So yeah, there is one glaring fix that can be done here that is going to improve everything about this footage. Okay, and it's just right down the line, just clinging guys to the edge of the shot. You know, keeping it tight. The setups are fantastic. The recognition of what's happening on the play is actually really good. But just staying tight and trusting your abilities as a filmer. If you are gonna gain some extra space, just do it within reason, right? Keeping it within reason at the end of the play, and zooming in. Still continuing to keep the majority guys in the shot as you zoom in towards the end. But all in all, there was 175 plays. 142 of them were positive. That's a percentage of 81%. Bonus, 44% of those were excellent. Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of a bump, pushing you up to 85.54% for the Detroit filmer. The Lions, well, what a game. Came right down to the end, but the filmer stayed with it the entire game and really did a lot of positives. If they can, really kind of hone in on that one thing in keeping guys that ratio that their setup was at, throughout the entire play, they're going to be on par with some of the best filmers in the NFL. It's certainly easy to say that there's improvements that need to be made, but there are other filmers in the NFL that are doing these things, and it's definitely possible for this filmer to get there. So best of luck, and I'll see you on the next one. This is Cameraman Grades.